pursue and try and alter some other space.
Well, and those, I think I stated that I had some questions earlier that I'd like to discuss.
Sure.
I think within some of these proposals, there's going to be some questions of necessity at that point in time versus on which direction you go. You know, you're only talking about it based on if this is an accurate timeline in reference to the, or in respect to the subject timeline that's being somewhat presented, that could, you know, potentially go out further. But you're only talking 18 months. And in looking at some of this conversation, you may not even need to have all that money at that point in time. That you know, it gives us time to work through some of these decisions, if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, in the option one that I just presented, I don't understand what you're saying, because
and I'm not talking about, okay. I'm not talking about go ahead and getting the work done and getting these judges back in the courtrooms. I'm not talking about
okay,
that.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, then I got you.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about that. No, I'm just talking about in these timelines that have been presented.
Yeah, I got you.
You look at them, you're only doing 18 months. 18 months.
Right.
You might be at the point of doing bids at that time. So,
yeah.
You know,
but
I don't know, but you wouldn't need that money until that point.
Yeah, I got okay. that. But I was just focused on getting, if we don't move, they are not going to be back in those courtrooms in February.
Understand. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. It looks like that's it for now on this subject.
Okay. So.
No. Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, with that, I'm going to conclude.
Okay. All right. I think we have, as soon as you finish on this issue, we have somebody who wants to talk about another issue.
Okay. Then I'm going to let that conclude the government center discussion. I see the judge is gone, but I want to make sure that we are on the same page in terms of moving forward. But we'll talk later with him.
I bet you he'll find you.
Pardon?
I bet you he'll find you
yeah.
before the day's out.
All right. Well, that concludes the discussion, Madam Mayor, on the government center update.
Great. Well, thank you. It's a very obviously complex issue, and appreciate council's attention and all of you all that have worked so hard. And thank you, those of you who have come, the judges and local lawyers, to help us just understand how serious this is and the need to push. And I know you are, and thank you. But we got to move on this.
Yeah, and let me just finally thank Newt Aaron, Ryan Clemens, 2WR. Would you stand? And Hick Bertishaw, where they've got, okay, so it's been these local people, organizations, who have come together in a public-private kind of effort to get us to where we are moving in the right direction and get the judges back in space and employees and citizens doing business down at City Hall. So I wanted to recognize all of them and thank them, and then thank the staff for all of their work. And thanks again for that recommendation. I've not had the opportunity to work with Newt and Ryan, but it's been a pleasure. So thank you.
All right, thank you. We have Councilor Woodson.
City Manager, I have an appointment, but I wanted to interrupt your agenda to ask you to please look into this matter. I asked Ms. Taisha to put a picture up for you, a couple pictures. I have some concerns that I think that we need to reevaluate and address. I know that technology is very important in today's society, but we also need to be very careful in how we establish technology. This pole right here that I'm showing to you was placed in an area in Oakland Park on Hawthorne, a community that's trying to lift its spirits, change their perception, and beautify their community. This pole was kind of forced into the community by being said that it's the state, that's the regulations, and so on and so on. Well, okay, we lost that battle, no problem. We said, okay, with the pole. Now, what concerns me and upsets me highly with this is that look where all the generator and all the electrical and everything that needs to be related to that pole is at a child's level, or someone that wants to vandalize the community or do something. That is so unsafe. It isn't even protected. And then on top of it, this person that has it in front of their home, I mean, you sit on the porch and this is what you look at, has weeds coming out of it. They even put an additional, like, I guess, power on the ground. And we ask our constituents to help us in maintaining our right-of-ways and stuff. I think it's very unfair and it's very inappropriate. I think that this company needs to take that out and put it up higher or remove it. I understand it's for the purpose of cell phones, but let me tell you what, years ago we didn't have cell phones. And I don't think it's fair. And I want to show you the next picture, please. And in my understanding that there are several of these in different communities.
Yeah, and they'll say
this is what I want to, I know, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of like antsy about this. I want to show you where this person sits and looks at. And I think that the people that want to put these cell phone towers or whatever you want to call it, there's the hole. See the platform on the hole on the ground there. That was not there before, but it is there now. It's that little silver portion of it, which distracted a beautiful lawn. Go to the next picture, please. Because it's 3 pictures. Oh, I thought I sent you one of the house. Okay. Well, there's another one where you sit on this poor individual's porch, and all you look at it is this. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention, mainly for safety reasons.
Well, let me just say this. You know, I've heard from Councilor Allen, I think Councilor Thomas, Councilor House.
Oh, I didn't know.
Early in the morning.
Okay.
And let me tell you, and the city attorney has been involved, the assistant city attorney. You know, this was legislation that we fought against over the last few years. And you heard Tom Gale from GMA mention it this morning. And last legislative session, we spoke and fought this legislation. And I think it's shameful. And I say that because I want the cell phone providers to hear me say it's shameful what they're doing to communities, and not just in Columbus, but all over this state. You know, we need cell towers and all of that, but what they are doing on rights of way and in neighborhoods, nice neighborhoods where there's underground utility, and they come and they dump something like this on us, shame on them. And I think we need to continue to fight it. You heard from GMA, but it is shameful that they are doing that. The cell phone providers are doing that to our neighborhoods. Shameful.
And I appreciate you saying that, because I was very livid when I saw this. And the most important thing of it is, where's the safety? I mean, I could have, and I was writing, I got the phone call and I didn't call her right back. I just decided to go. I got on my bike and rode by it, and I about died when I saw that, because I can get off my bike, go grab those wires and pull them at my height, and I'm only 5'7", you know. I mean, anybody can come in there and damage these and cause additional issues and problems. So while we're fighting that fight, we need to, maybe the city attorney, see who's going to be liable and responsible if something should happen where somebody plays, destroys that. Why would that, homeowner have to be responsible to keep it neatly for someone else that didn't even consider their feelings? Because at the time we discussed it, I even said, well, can we push it down a little bit so the person doesn't have to sit in front of their porch and look at it. And my response was, no, it has to be right there. It won't affect, it's just a pole, it'll be just fine. Well, that ain't just a pole. That is not just a pole, and something needs to be done. It needs to be covered, or it needs to be removed up, or who's going to be responsible. I don't want us to be responsible if a lawsuit comes because somebody got hurt or somebody's property got damaged.
Well, and I was going to present something today, but I knew this meeting would be long, and so I wanted to wait until the next meeting to talk further about it.
Well, that's great because, you know, I'll go visit that family and I will personally tell them to look at, if they're not watching, they might be watching now. I didn't ring the doorbell or anything because I didn't want to get into, and I didn't have any answers for them at the time. So I thought, hey, pictures speak louder than words. And I'm done. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have Councilor Davis.
Mr. City Manager, back to the discussion about the Government Center. I didn't bring it up at the time, and it was stated during the presentation, which I think needs to go ahead. It's part of the planning part, but it was stated, and I think it's relevant, extremely relevant. It was stated that there needs to be a study on the on the structural aspect of the Government Center. We don't have that. I think everybody agree that needs to be done because that in itself may help in the, well, it will help in the decision-making process. You know, I would be all in favor of doing that as soon as possible. If we need to approve funding for it, I think it's a necessity here. It's all a part of trying to figure out what's the right option.
Well, you know, certainly the engineering director is sitting out there and other staff, so let us look at the cost and at least talk about that at the next meeting as well.
Well, you know, it's a cost, but I don't see how you can move forward unless you have that information in hand. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
I think that concludes this discussion then. Good discussion. Thank you all for your interest and your patience, and as the city manager said, all of you all who have put in so much work and volunteered your time. We're so appreciative of your professionalism and your civic duty. Mr. Okay, hold on. I thought you were on. There you go.
Thanks. Councilor Woodson wanted me to mention that item 5 on the legislative agenda that was requested by Councilor Davis asked the state legislature for some help on these small cell phone towers as well to try to get some local regulation returned to local elected officials. Before there's any placement of towers, we'd like neighborhood feedback and at least some notification to these areas, and Councilor Woodson wanted me to say that in case her constituent was still listening, but we do have that as number 5 on the legislative agenda list.
All right, thank you. All right, we are now moving into public agenda. Let me say at the outset, we greatly appreciate your patience. We know that Ms. Gallagher was one of the ones that said that she would reschedule because of the length of the meeting, and so we will get her back in next time. Is Ms. Bernita Haynes here, representing Georgia Watch and Energy Efficient for All? Ms. Haynes? Okay. Excuse me? Yes. Well, we can get her back. Is it time sensitive? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Good. Can you hit your button?
Go to somebody else.
Okay, all right, sure.
First.
Okay, how about Ms. Amani Alcantara? Ms. Amani Alcantara is here to talk about Truly Living Well, Growing Families in Columbus. Hello. We're so glad to have you, and what we'll do is we'll set 5 minutes for you to make your presentation, and then if you still need some more, I'll add another 5 minutes. And so if you would just introduce yourself and state the address of yourself or the organization, either one.
Okay. My name is Imani Alcantara. My name is Imani Alcantara, and the Truly Living Well Growing Families program for Columbus will be held at Van Community Center. And I don't have that address memorized. I think it's 5501 12th Avenue. And basically, Truly Living Well, in partnership with Kellogg's Foundation, has graciously provided seed money for 20 single mothers to participate in a program which teaches them, trains them, provides them with skills as well as education on how to grow food and create an agribusiness. This program begins next week. We have quite a few mothers that have signed up for the program. However, we are still accepting applications, and we still have openings for mothers. And so I wanted to let the community know, as well as the council members know, about this program and this opportunity for single mothers and their children. Let's see. We believe that healthy food is essential for everyone, and that if you impact mothers, you have a great impact upon families, and that strong families build strong communities. I myself participated in the program as my husband, who's a veteran and was a former employee with the city of Columbus, passed away about a year and a half ago. And he was the sole provider of our family, which is a family of 8. So myself, my husband, and we have 6 children. And so when he transitioned, we began living below the poverty line. So I had to figure out, what am I going to do? And a friend suggested the Growing Families program, and Growing Families, Truly Living Well's Growing Families program. And they suggested that I bring some other mothers and their children. And so 4 mothers, including myself, and 10 other children participated in this program. We completed our projects and we graduated, and I was blessed to be tapped to start the program here in Columbus, as they've only offered that program in Atlanta. So we're beginning this program, and we just are looking forward to expanding. We're looking for partners as we expand, because we're at Bellwood. However, we're looking at the land in that community to grow the garden, because we would love to have eventually a farmer's market where the mothers and their children are growing food and hopefully creating value-added products to offer within their community.
Wow, what a blessing that you that had a moment of need in your life have transitioned that now to an opportunity where you're helping so many others.
Absolutely.
So thank you so very much for this. Will you state the date and the time again and the place of the when you first came?
And also, just to let everyone know, I'm going to pass out, they're not posters, but information cards about the program for each one of you. On CCG TV, the card is also, they can see the information there as well.
Okay.
If they have additional questions or information in it, there's telephone number as well as the website, as well as all that additional information. But it begins online, because there's an online portion where they're learning about growing food and gardening, I should say. And that begins Friday night, but for 5 consecutive weeks we will be in the garden at Bellwood, beginning October the 20th. Okay. And then the graduation will take place December 1st.
Wonderful. Well, we will get that information up and onto CCG. Okay. So thank you so much, and do leave that information. Yes, you can put it right there in the corner, and Tiasha will come get it. We'll make sure we get it up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Next, we have Miss Betty Lindsay, who's with the Exchange Club of Columbus, Georgia. Thank you again for your patience as well. And if you just state your name and your address, please, and then you can start your comments.
Good afternoon. Thank you to the council, the mayor, and the city manager for having me here today. I represent the Exchange Club of Columbus. We are a nonprofit organization, and we work under we're governed by the National Exchange Club out of Toledo, Ohio. We have service projects that are dictated by them. They are programs of Americanism, service to youth, community service, and child abuse prevention. Under the Americanism, we do the One Nation Under God program in November. We do Young Citizenship in Muskogee County middle school students, and we do a program with Veterans That Matter. The service to youth projects include the Youth of the Month and the Youth of the Year in Muskogee County School District high schools. ACE, which stands for Accepting the Challenge of Excellence, which is a project for high school seniors who have overcome physical, mental, or personal situations and have been able to graduate from high school. We do Partners in Education with Rothschild Leadership Academy and an ongoing process through the school year. Our community service projects include service to seniors, a Sunshine Special with the youth, and the House of Time. Child abuse prevention projects include the Children's Tree House, and as of June 2018, the Children's Tree House was approved as an affiliate of the National Exchange Club, something we're very proud of. We do Damascus Way and Katie's Closet, several more that approach us and are as approved by our board of directors. And our Time Out Teddy is always available to promote child abuse prevention by promoting Time Out. To fund the above-mentioned projects, we depend solely on our fundraising projects. The major one will be the Foot-Long Hot Dog Jamboree, which will be held October 18th through the 20th. We will be working at a new location this year and pleased that Winbrook Baptist Church at 500 River Knoll Way opened their doors to us for this project. We will be serving hot dogs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. each day, and on Saturday we will be having an antique car show. And also we'll have a bluegrass band to entertain the customers. We have a phone number, 706-341-1947, and a fax number, 706-660-1980, and we can take call-in orders and fax orders. I thank you so much for having us here today to address the council to be able to get the word out about our Foot-Long Hot Dog Jamboree. Thank you.
Wonderful. It is. First of all, you all do such great work for the community. Thank you for all you do. And secondly, if you all out there haven't been to get a Foot-Long hot dog, you need to go because they're fantastic. And so thank you so much for coming and sharing that with us. Again, we're sorry that you had to wait so long to get your message out, but hopefully you found it relatively interesting because
actually it was very educational being here today, learning about the government center.
That's right. Well,
and I thank you, and I look forward to seeing all of you October 18th through the 20th.
You will see us there. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye. All right, and next we have Ms. Audrey Holstein-Pallamore, who wants to talk about a meeting request. So Ms. Pallamore, we'll get you up, and if you would, just state your name and address, please. What's that? Yay. Okay, yeah, I think after this.
Good afternoon. According to my cell phone, the time is 12:29. Good afternoon, selected officials, elected officials, and citizens of Columbus, Georgia. I am a citizen of Columbus, Georgia. My name is Mrs. Audrey Holston Palmore. I reside in a single-family dwelling located at 1035 Lawyers Lane, located in Columbus, Georgia. My zip code is 31906. On Friday, October the 5th, 2018, during the 11 a.m. hour, I reported to the Office of the Clerk of Council for the Columbus Consolidated Government of Columbus, Georgia. As required by law, I submitted to a clerk for the Office of the Clerk of Council an application to speak on the public agenda for today. I was provided a copy of the application, and I left the office satisfied that I had performed a duty to move forward in my desire to address the city council officials about meetings I have a need to be involved with Public Safety Director of the City of Columbus, Georgia. Her name is Teresa Tomlinson. I am also present to request a meeting with the city manager, Isaiah Hughley. At approximately 2-ish o'clock on the same date of Friday, October the 5th, 2018, I answered a call on my cell phone from the clerk whom accepted the application I submitted earlier. The female voice identified the caller being the clerk I had communication with earlier in the day. I acknowledged her call and told the clerk I would be there in person to receive the message. I was unable to write nor speak at length about the incoming call. I returned back to the Council of Clerks office located at the Government Center to personally receive the message the clerk could not provide during the approximately 2:00 p.m. call due to the lack of bad timing of my reception and outreach on the part of the Clerk of Council. Because of time restraints, I had to leave the city and was not able to respond to the message. It was a message from the Public Safety Director, Teresa Tomlinson. I didn't respond to the clerk other than to thank her for doing her job and calling, seeking to communicate with me. I have asked that I be notified by the Public Safety Director. I have asked that the Public Safety Director contact me via U.S. Postal Service. I am hoping to receive a letter directly from the Public Safety Director about the meeting I requested to have with her and the composer of a police report about me that I need to bring some clarity into my understanding of the report. I ask that there not be a court proceeding necessary for us to move forward, just a meeting whereas I, as a citizen, where I'm requesting that the composer of this police report in which the Public Safety Director oversees the Department of Law Enforcement, according to my understanding. Thank you. At this time, I would like for the City Council members to look at the paperwork that was just given to you. It has my address, my name, my address, and the city zip code, to which I'm asking that by next council meeting in November, the second Tuesday in November, that you all take out the time to pen to me your thoughts, any thought that you may have, or if you don't have a thought, just write, I don't have a thought about your coming this for the 10th time, to ask for some consideration from the Public Safety Director to at least meet with me so that we can come to some type of clarity or resolution as to the event that happened with what I thought was a law enforcement officer. Now, at this time, during my 3 minutes and 42 seconds, I'd like to address the fact that I have also I've also asked for a meeting with City Manager Isaiah Hughley. And this has been going on since March of this year, 2018. And it's a situation that involves family members from very, very young age who will no doubt be told about his first birthday and what happened, and the part that the Columbus Parks and Rec played in causing some negative reactions with people who were invited. So I'm here as a representative to try to understand, to try to explain to the family my position on what actually happened, and I'm asking Mr. Hughley to stop telling his clerk that he's not going to meet with me. I will continue to bring it before council because it is a very important issue. It's a very affective issue. I don't know how to talk about all of the financial things that you all have involved as far as the city government center, but I do know how to speak about affective events that that can take a long time to overcome if they're not attended to. It's like a sore, you know, and we don't want you to think that you are ignoring us, because we are citizens. And we have a right to present to the Public Safety Director, who's concerned about the safety of Columbus, or should be, and the public safety, and the city manager. I want to meet with you on a one-to-one personally about a letter that you sent to my daughter. And so one other thing is that on May the 14th, I signed up to do some picketing down at the Public Safety Director's office, and I asked that the correct dimensions of where I could picket be presented to me, because I don't want to be in violation of being in the correct place to do picketing. Well, as a result of the national spirit of picketing and writing letters, I'm going to give myself at least 2 weeks to picket in the diameter that the Public Safety Director people diagram for me the last 2 weeks of this month. I will talk to them and ask them to please diagram where I can come to picket. And I want the citizenry of Columbus, Georgia, to write letters if necessary, because if they haven't responded in 10 months, there's a possibility they don't plan to respond. But if I can get some letters from the citizenry in front of the Public Safety building where I will be applying to do picketing, only if they outline the correct dimensions where I can be picketing. So I appreciate this. I want to follow the facts to the truth. This is from a Florida legislature that said, let's follow the facts to the truth. Let's sit down and just talk about what I've been concerned about. Thank you for your attention. If I didn't say enough or if I said too much, it wasn't, I meant to say what was needed to be said by me. Thank you for your attention.
All right, and we're going to go back to Councilor Garrett. If you'd hit your button there, you had an announcement you wanted to make. Yeah. Okay, well, if you do, then I may. Ms. Palmer, and you know, because we go through it, the same response every single time. You've already responded to her, or involved her daughter, you met with her daughter was fine with it.
Oh, you know.
She wants to continue to meet with you. You've told her that it's a situation involving her daughter, and so here we go. And it's the same thing with me. We've called, tried to make appointments and so forth, and she continues to come back. But Ms. Palmer, you did invoke the clerk. Everyone on the public agenda was contacted to apprise them that it would be at least 2 hours before we got to the public agenda.
See, I don't care if it's 5 hours.
No, ma'am. So what we were trying to do is to allow people the opportunity to govern their day. If they had something they needed to get to, they could come a little later, so forth, so on. So that, just to clear it up, the clerk was just being polite, frankly. All right, Mr. City Manager, you said you wanted to address some things.
Well, Madam Mayor, and Ms. Palmore, thank you, and I don't want to get into a back and forth. You've had your 10 minutes, and I just want to respond, okay? So, I mean, you're welcome to have your seat. Okay. Mayor, you basically said it. Her daughter, who's an adult, rented Carver Park for her child's birthday party. And somehow there was a mix-up. Parks and Rec tells me they told them the outdoor restroom is not available. Somehow they thought it was available. It wasn't. Ms. Palmore's daughter came to see me as she escorted her daughter to see me. Because of the confusion, I had Parks and Rec to reimburse her the money for use of the park. I wrote her a letter of apology for the mix-up, and I also gifted her daughter anytime within the next year she could use any Parks and Rec facility of her choice at no cost. And that's the letter I wrote, providing that to her daughter in addition to reimbursing her daughter. And so the matter has been resolved. I've not heard back from her daughter. There are no issues, but Ms. Palmore wants to continue to come, and I guess, I don't know what she wants to talk about, but I've told her we did not rent a facility to her. We rented it to her daughter, and if her daughter wants to talk to me, I will be happy to meet with her daughter. But on any other city-related matter, if she wants to talk to me about something other than the matter that we have at hand or had with her daughter, I will meet with her. If she wants to talk about another city park or a concern of the city, I'm happy to meet with Ms. Palmore. But I will not meet with her about a matter that doesn't relate to her, that has to do with her daughter. If her daughter wants to meet, I'll meet. And so that's where it's at. I just want you to know.
Great, and thank you very much for that explanation. All right, we have Councilor Garrett wanted to make an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And from what I understand, Ms. Hayes actually had to go to a radio announcement before she made it on the public agenda. But what she was announcing this weekend on Saturday, October 13th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Columbus Public Library. Georgia Watch is having a free public forum. You need to RSVP online because they are providing free food, and what it is, it's an energy equity forum to talk to you about how you can manage your bills better, reducing energy use or making it more efficient. And it's an organization that basically looks out for consumers, and I'm on their board, so I think it's a worthwhile thing to attend. If you want to go, though, you need to go to www.georgia.watch.org, and there's a calendar there, and you can click on that and RSVP, and they will have food, and it's from 10 to 3 at the Columbus Public Library this weekend, Saturday.
We also have Pops Barnes would like to make an announcement. Hit that mic, Councilor Barnes. There you go. There you go.
Yes, Dr. Amanda Reese had to leave. She wanted, she wanted to be on the public agenda. She is a history professor, history and geography professor at CSU, and she and the students are doing a history of the Carver Heights area, and they're going to be having on October the 20th from 11 to 2 p.m. at the Mildred Cherry Library. There's a come out and share your stories and photos of the Carver Heights area with the CSU students and celebrate and preserve the history of this post-World War II community. They're doing a living history, and they want to have as many individuals who have a history of Carver Heights to come out and speak about their friends, many of the unsung heroes in that area they want to compile a history of. And the contact for Dr. Amanda Reese is 706-507-8358. And you can also reach her at email rees_Amanda@columbusState.edu. That's rees_Amanda@columbusState.edu. And while I have the mic, I want to let everyone know that Veterans Day Parade is the second Saturday in November, the 10th. And I invite everyone, as always, to come out and to say thank you to the many women and men who wear the uniform of our armed forces and protect the precious freedoms that we have. The Veterans Day Parade gets bigger and bigger every year. This is the 9th Veterans Day Parade. And just come out and just say thank you to the vets. Enjoy the marching bands, the military vehicles, the clowns, and the festivities. But the most important thing is to thank the women and men who wear the uniform, both present and past, to say thank you for the privilege that we have of living in this marvelous country of ours, because without a strong defense, we'll be privy to another country really taking over. 9/11 should have been a wake-up call to every citizen in the United States that our freedoms are not free, they come at a cost. And so that's a Veterans Day Parade, second Saturday in November, November 10th, and it starts at 10 a.m. You can get, if you want to be in the parade, contact Phoenix City Parks and Recs, Columbus Parks and Recs, or go online and to get your application. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilor Barnes. And at this time, then, we'll move into the city manager's agenda. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And as we, I know that a couple of council members stepped away, and while we are waiting, because we got some items to be voted on, I'm going to ask Director Pat Biegler, and I had Riley Land here from Emergency Management just to talk about the weather, to provide a update on preparation and anticipated weather. And I see that Riley Land must have stepped away, but would you talk about, Director Biegler, preparation?
Public Works has a fairly strict program we follow when we're anticipating weather. We do track the weather, but what we do is first we make sure that all the vehicles in the city are fully fueled. Then we refill the fuel tanks to make sure that we have the maximum capacity for fuel. The staff will pull out all of the equipment they need to respond, to include chainsaws, et cetera, and we'll make sure that they're in proper working order and properly fueled and sharpened and do whatever else they need. Then as we approach the event and we keep a close eye on the weather, we will have our staffs, both in rainwater and forestry, go to 12 on, 12 off, so that the ones we know are going to come in the middle of the night can go home, catch a nap, make sure their family and their houses are secure, and we switch to 12-hour shifts until the event is passed. We also are working, and have now for the last couple of storms, been able to put all of the calls we receive out on GIS and available in the Emergency Ops Center and to those who need to see it, so that if we start having major road blockages or other issues, we can make that information available to everybody at the same time and as quickly as possible. That allows the fire public safety to reroute if they need to around blocked areas. And we have priorities based on, obviously, the severity of the situations we're dealing with. So that's all already started. The crews are working on making sure all the equipment's operational. We have contacted public safety to ensure that they also get all of their vehicles fired up, and if they need any immediate maintenance, they can get their equipment into the shop and we can get it taken care of.
All right. Thanks, Pat. And Mr. City Manager, yes, Riley Land had to step out because he has a 1 p.m. statewide conference call with the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. But as of this time, prior to that 1 p.m. call, the last projections we had is that whatever Michael is when it comes ashore will probably result in about 30 miles per hour sustained winds in Columbus, with gusts up to 35 miles an hour and 2 to 3 inches of rain. So that's what we're expecting right now, but of course it changes every couple of hours. Excuse me? I don't have a wind right now, but I've heard everything from wee hours of Wednesday to early morning Thursday, so hopefully we'll get some more clarity on that here after the 1 p.m. So. Yeah,
and we can, Madam Mayor, have Emergency Management Director Riley Land to capture the essence of it in an email and forward it out to the members of council.
And we can get it on Facebook too, and sure. Share it on the 311 page and so forth. And
also, Deputy City Manager Goodwin is showing me that the American Red Cross, our Parks and Rec Director spoke to them, and they are going to open Shirley Winston Recreation Center tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock a.m. as a 24-hour emergency center, not an emergency shelter, as we will not have cots available. People will be instructed to bring their own blankets and pillows. And so tomorrow morning, that's Wednesday, at 11 o'clock a.m., a 24-hour emergency center, not an emergency shelter, as we will not have cots available. People will be instructed to bring their own blankets and pillows, etc. And so that is what we know right now.
All right, thank you. We have Councilor Thomas.
Ms. Bigler, one of the questions that I have been asked is about garbage pickup tomorrow. Will we have regular, as far as you know at this time?
Yes, at this time we will have regular pickup tomorrow to cover for the Monday holiday.
And if that changes, how will people?
We would be putting that out through, press releases, CCG TV, our website, and if we can, on regular TV also.
I know that when that I got a call, for example, reminding me that Monday was a holiday and not garbage pickup. Could we do it also on that system if there's something that happens between now and then?
Yes.
Thank you.
And Councilor, for those who have not signed up for the emergency notification system, they can call 311 and figure out how to get signed up, or go on the columbusga.org website and sign up, because when you sign up, you will get those phone calls. And for example, I get it on my cell phone, on my landline, I get an email, and so there are multiple ways that you'll get the message. And so if you're not getting a message, it's because you have not signed up. So we want to encourage citizens to do sign up for that.
Okay, thank you.
And Madam Mayor, and they have just changed that. I said the emergency shelter would open tomorrow at 11. They've changed it, and they're going to open instead today at 5 o'clock p.m. With the same provisions.
Okay, thank you. I was just trying to find more information out about Michael, but hopefully we can get that here in a minute. Okay. All right, I think that then turns it over to your agenda. We should be ready for some items to vote on.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've got 10 items on our legislative agenda, and typically the way we do it is that we share with you and the public what's on the agenda, and you vote on each item separately. And of course, between now and the 2019 legislative session that starts the second Monday in January, you can also continue to bring things to add to the legislative agenda. And so you should have copies or a list of items on the legislative agenda. And the first one is something that we've had before. It's not new, and Councilor Glenn Davis asked that we bring it back. It's an amendment of conflict of interest provision for redevelopment powers law, and that has to do with tax allocation districts, as most people know it. And so the CCG, Columbus Consolidated Government, is requesting our delegation introduce and support legislation to revise and clarify the conflict of interest provisions in the redevelopment powers law, which addresses the participation of local government elected and appointed officials and employees in the creation and administration of tax allocation districts. And so we're asking your approval on this particular item.
All right, we've got a motion. Is there a second? Second. All right, all those in favor, can we do this by voting? Bruce? Okay, please record your votes electronically. All right, and it does pass. Thank you.
Next, we've got Interstate 14, and we've had some conversation about Interstate 14, and we had
Got a motion and second to approve. Is there any further discussion on this item? Okay, you may go ahead and record your votes electronically. And it passes.
We've also had conversation on removal of junked motorized vehicles by towing.
We've got a motion and second to approve the third item, and you may go ahead and record your votes electronically.
Fourth on the agenda is legislation imposing restrictions on step therapy, fail first protocols. We've had this before.
We've got a motion and second for approval of the legislation to impose restrictions on step therapy, fail first protocols. You may record your votes electronically. And it passes.
And the next one, I hope, will be unanimous. Legislation imposing installation of small cell towers. We've had much conversation about it, and we see the results of what legislation can do.
Move to approve.
Got a motion second to approve. You may record your votes electronically. And it does pass.
The next one is not a new one from last year. Hotel tax relief for evacuees from storms or hurricanes or other disasters when an evacuation order is issued.
Okay, we've got a motion second to approval, for approval, and we have Councilor Davis with discussion.
The City Manager, just so you'll know, I added this back on here, and the reason being, so I know the state already does exempt when a house is destroyed, but this is asking additional amendment that when a government entity requests evacuation, then it creates a hardship or a financial burden. I'm not talking about the ones that are out of these zones, evacuation zones, but if they're in an evacuation zone.
Yes.
So that's why it's back on.
All right, and you may record your votes electronically. And it passes.
And number 7 is not new. It's nonpartisan primary ballots for all local elected officials, including constitutional officers. And this is one that Councilor Davis asked that we put back on.
All right. We've got a motion and second to approve. You may record your votes electronically. And it passes.
Number 8 is not new. It's hotel motel tax, other local option sales tax. We're requesting our delegation introduce legislation to amend the law so that it only applies to local option sales tax referenda held after January 1, 2011, thereby leaving the original 2 exemptions contained in our 2004 legislation in place in Columbus, and that had to do with hotel lodging and vehicle sales. And this was one that Mayor-elect Skip Henderson had much concern over and wanted us to do this, and Councilor Davis is bringing this one back again as well.
We got a motion and second for approval. There's no discussion, so you may record your votes electronically. And it passes.
And number 9 is repeal or modification of hotel destination fee imposed by House Bill 106 in the 2015 session. It's not new. It's the $5 per night fee on hotel lodging, which makes it an unfair advantage to border cities or to other states like Columbus and Alabama. And so we're asking your approval.
All right. We've got a motion and a second. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and we have Councilor Davis with discussion.
This City Manager, I know in the past they told us that there wasn't really an appetite for this, but the reason I'm putting this back and requesting to put this back on here is that a lot has happened in the last year. Now we have these county-wide transportation taxes. There's other transportation taxes out there that are being passed now that can help solve that problem of what the intent of this destination fee was supposed to solve or mitigate in the Atlanta area, but now you're seeing an increased approval of transportation taxes all over. So the question is, should it be less? Should it be moved around? I mean, is there a different way to relieve that burden? Again, I say Muskogee County is probably is the leading county in the state of Georgia that gets hurt by this, I guess, law or imposed tax on the
absolutely.
destination fee.
All right, thank you. With that, you may go ahead and record your votes electronically. And it does pass.
And number 10 on our agenda, personal care homes. We've had much discussion about personal care homes, and so we're asking our delegation to introduce statewide legislation that will require prompt notification of county and city police and fire departments, licensing departments, and planning and zoning departments upon licensing or licensing changes of child care in institutions, foster care homes, and personal care homes. This was requested by Councilor Davis as we are continuing to deal with personal care homes in Muskogee County, Columbus.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and second for approval. There's no discussion, so you may record your votes electronically. And it passes.
And so on the GMA legislative agenda items, I say supported by CCG. It's not to get your vote on any of them, but wanted you to be aware of the things that GMA is they're paying close attention to. Municipal broadband, short-term rentals or vacation rentals, which we're dealing with, expedited environmental protection division, permitting process, stormwater utilities, disaster preparedness and response, increased technical and practical assistance by state environmental staff, greater regulations of solid waste transfer facilities. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I wanted to just call your attention And you should have a copy of GMA's entire legislative agenda that address each one of these things in the information section of ECAP. And so I would ask that you just pay attention to those from GMA. And if you got any questions on any of the things that GMA is supporting for the 2019 legislative session, let me know, let us know. I serve on the Georgia Municipal Association Legislative Policy Council to develop their legislative agenda for the state of Georgia, for all cities, more than 500 cities in Georgia. And so let me know if there's something on that list you have concerns with, that we can address it with GMA. So, Madam Mayor, that's the legislative agenda. I've got a few other items on my agenda. The 2038 Comprehensive Plan, we shared that with you in a public hearing earlier. You had an update at a previous council meeting, and we're asking your approval that we can move this forward.
Okay, we've got a motion and second for approval. There appears to be no discussion, so you may record your votes electronically. And it passes. Yes. Would you like to, I'm sorry, let me change the screen over. Can you put on Councilor Thomas's microphone, please? There you go.
This is not a discussion of the document itself, but I just want to publicly thank the Planning Department, Director Jones and his staff for the tremendous work that they have done to bring this to us and to put this together. This is not something you do in a week's time. And I just wanted to say to Director Jones and his staff, good job, guys.
Thank you, ma'am. And I've got a grant. It's Solicitor General's Victim Witness Assistance Grant, $127,855, with a $5,287 matching funding from the 5% Crime Victim Surcharge Fund.
Got a motion and second for approval. Any discussion? Seeing none, you may record your votes electronically. We need one more. Oh, okay. All right, we're good. thank you. It passes.
Okay, I've got a District Attorney Victim Witness Assistance Program grant. It's $349,897, along with $70,074 from the 5% Crime Victim Surcharge Fund, along with an in-kind match of $17,400 from volunteer hours. We're asking your approval.
Got a motion and second for approval. Is there any discussion regarding this item? Seeing none, you may record your votes electronically. And it passes.
Yeah. I have another District Attorney Victim Witness Assistance Program grant. It's $48,649, and there's no match.
Okay, we've got a motion and second for approval. There's no discussion, so you may record your votes electronically. It passes.
And on purchases, I've got Pine Grove Municipal Solid Waste Landfill, C&D Area 3, and we're asking that you authorize us to execute construction contract with McLeroy Equipment. It's $610,404 for a construction and demolition landfill sale at Pine Grove Municipal Solid Waste Landfill. And so this is what we...
We've got a motion and second for approval. There's no discussion on this issue, so you may record your votes electronically. And it passes.
Have a refuse truck engine repair at $16,817.89. It's for an engine replacement or problem.
Okay. We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, you may record your votes electronically. And it passes.
And I have lot clearance services. It's a contract with Aspire Landscaping as an additional contractor to provide lot clearance services. And it's not on an as-needed basis. an estimated contract annual to $7,280. And we're asking approval.
Is there a motion? Yeah, okay, and then a second? All right, there's a motion and second, so we have discussion with Councilor Davis. Hold on. Councilor Davis.
Mr. City Manager, I think Director Hutchinson's aware of this, but if we could maybe come up with a better tracking system just for the vendor and the vendor, some kind of reporting system just to make sure that everybody's on the same side and an updated, well, that's not really what I'm looking to say, but for lack of a better term, a quick response from the vendor that the matters have been taken care of.
Okay.
I think it's being worked on, but just FYI.
Okay, well, he's here and he heard that, and I'll make sure that he follows up to do exactly that.
All right. With that, you may record your votes electronically. And it passes.
And the last item on purchasing agenda is replacement playground equipment. It's $149,973. It's for...
Got a motion and second for approval. There is no discussion, so you may record your votes electronically. And it passes.
And Madam Mayor, that concludes my agenda, and Councilor Woodson wanted me to mention that there's a Waverly Terrace Historic Neighborhood meeting this evening at 6:15, and that's at 2829 Peabody Avenue. And that is, again, a Waverly Terrace Historic Neighborhood meeting this evening at 6:15, 2829 Peabody Avenue. Madam Mayor and Council, that's all I have today.
All right, thank you. We have Councilor Davis.
Mr. City Manager, while we're finishing up your agenda, I just want to bring to your attention a matter that it's happened in my district. I'm not sure if it's happened in other districts, but I've become aware of a hardship, and actually it's an extreme hardship, a financial hardship, due to some of these regulations that are out there dealing with the cleaning of detention, retention ponds, all the stuff that we've talked about in the past. Again, prior discussion was about the financial hardships that's being placed on businesses and others. Now I'm finding out that it's being placed on entities that don't have the ability to raise money or even come up with money. And not just a year, but maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They have no other choice. So the question is, what do they do in situations like that? I mean, I don't see that you can just shut them down or fine them. It's not going to work. They just don't have the ability. These are nonprofits. These are entities that like I said, they barely make it day in and day out. They contribute to our community, whether it's the spiritual welfare of our community, but and actually some of them, even you can make the case that they provide services to the city. I'm not saying that they're exempt, but there is true hardship in this. That just, if you can't come up with the means to make it happen, what do you do? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm having a hard time addressing this situation, but I don't know what else they can do, but maybe potentially come up with some kind of a long-term plan to address the situation, but it doesn't seem like there's a willingness to try to work with these entities out there, and I'm concerned about that.
Well, and Councilor Davis, I'll have to get with staff and have this conversation with them and see what options are available. I don't have a response at the moment.
And I don't want to name names. I'm just kind of drawing a little picture here so you to understand. But I'll get with you afterwards and give you the name of this entity. But I'm sure there's probably in some other districts. There's people who are struggling or will be struggling as well because they just can't meet the regulation that's been placed on them.
Okay. And we'll make sure that's a referral as well. And Deputy City Manager Hodge is saying she'll respond.
All right. Thank you. And we have Councilor Huff.
Just a quick reminder that the domestic violence group will have their walk tonight and vigil. If you're interested in walking, you will report to Country's Barbecue on Broad around 5 o'clock. The walk will start at 5:30 back to the Government Center, and the vigil will begin at the Government Center courtyard at 6 o'clock for probably from 6 to about 7. So that's from 5:30 to about 7 tonight. The domestic violence walking program at the between Country's Barbecue and the Government Center courtyard. Thank you.
Great. All right. Thank you for that update. And now we will turn it over to Lindsay. We have the clerk of the council.
Madam Mayor and Council, on the clerk's agenda, item number 1 is a bio sketch for Mr. Carson Cummings. This is Mayor Tomlinson's nominee for the Ironworks Convention and Trade Center Authority. Items 2 through 6 are memorandums for upcoming board terms that will expire at the end of December. Items 7 through 10 are street closures. Item number 11 is a resignation of Mr. Mike Peacock from his seat as the District 6 rep on the Recreation Advisory Board. Yes, sir.
Let's see, we've got Councilor Huff.
On items, I guess 2 through, on the board appointments, will you start receiving those prior to the next meeting, or we make the appointments, a nomination at the next meeting?
Those seats will be open at the next meeting to receive nominations.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Can I get a motion to receive this resignation for Mr. Peacock, please?
Second.
Got a motion and second. All those in favor, please state aye.
We also have an add-on resignation for Ms. O'Shields Watson from her position on the Personnel Review Board.
Receive with regret.
Second.
All those in favor, please state aye.
We have minutes of various boards that can be received.
All right, that's the Airport Commission, the Board of Tax Assessors, the Housing Authority of Columbus, and the Recreation Advisory Board. All those in favor, please state aye.
On the Columbus Ironworks Convention and Trade Center Authority, Mayor Tomlinson is nominating Carson Cummings, and he can be confirmed.
All those in favor, please state aye.
On Community Development Advisory Council, Districts 3 and 6 are still open for nominees. On the Circle Commission, we still have 2 seats available, and we are working with them and the mayor's staff on getting these seats filled. For the Hospital Authority of Columbus, we have the seats of Mike Welch and Dr. John Kingsbury. They are open, and in order to send these over, we have to get 3 nominees for each seat. And we have not received recommendations for those.
Councilor Davis.
Yes, sir.
You haven't received recommendations, or I thought some lists were sent in with some names.
That was actually for the Medical Center Hospital Authority.
Medical Center, this is
Yes,
Hospital
sir.
Authority.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute, Madam Mayor. Well, this is the Hospital Authority, if I'm not, you got 3 places under there. I think they bring us 3 names, and
They do normally, and
approve them, right?
we have not received names for the Hospital Authority of Columbus yet, but we have received for the Medical Center. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
It's confusing with them coming at the same time.
Well, it is. I thought it was just one entity. Evidently, it's 2.
They're
Okay.
separate.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. On the Housing Authority of Columbus, Ms. Tiffany Stacy is eligible to succeed herself, and this is actually the mayor's appointment. I apologize for that typo.
Okay.
For,
Does she want to serve?
yes, ma'am, as far as I know, she does.
Okay. Have you talked with her, or?
I have not been able to get her on the phone.
Well, why don't you just get her on the phone, and if she's willing to serve, I certainly will nominate her again.
Okay, I'll make a note of that.
Yeah.
On the Land Bank Authority, we've got 2 seats open. Justin Krieg, he is not eligible to succeed himself, and neither is Carson Cummings. Justin's seat is the mayor's appointment, and Mr. Cummings, that is council's appointment. On the Recreation Advisory Board, Districts 1 and 5 still need nominees. On the Medical Center Hospital Authority, we have 2 seats open. For the first one, Ms. Hudson, we've got recommendations of Dr. Wright, Mr. Solomon, and Mr. Sayers.
All right, we've got a motion and second. All those in favor, please state aye.
For the seat of Mr. McCoon, we've got recommendations of Mr. Wade, Mr. Solomon, and Mr. Sayers.
Okay, we've got a motion and second. All those in favor, please state aye.
We'll send these over to the authority. On the tree board, Ms. Cassie Renfro, her seat is still open. We received a referral from Councilor Woodson at the last meeting, and Keep Columbus Beautiful has been contacted, and they are working on a recommendation. For Uptown Facade Board, we've got we have 4 seats that are open now, or 2 seats that are open for Uptown Business Association and 2 seats that they are eligible. We've got Alan Udley, he's eligible to succeed himself, and Miss Josina Pittman Green. These are the council's appointments.
Hold on a second. We've got Councilor Thomas.
This says that this is the Uptown Business Association rep and the Uptown Columbus Inc. rep. Do they send us names?
Whenever their seats are whenever they're open and someone's not eligible, then they send us names. We have not received any for the 2 that are not eligible. The other ones, they normally just keep recommending reappointment unless they have moved.
But we have not received anything on these 2.
That's the last 2 that are not eligible.
I'm not sure what, if they recommend?
They recommend when the seat is vacant. Whenever they currently have someone in there.
Well, all 4 of these seats will be vacant because their terms are up.
Right. The first 2
I know
are
they're
eligible
eligible to succeed themselves, but the seat's vacant. And does Uptown not say to us, we want this person returned to the board?
Yes, ma'am, they do.
And they have not done that at this point?
When we had a conversation about a month or so, they did not make a recommendation as far as someone to replace those seats. So they seem to be in consensus that they were fine with them being reappointed.
Okay, I would request that we hold on these until maybe you have another conversation with them and make sure that they do want these folks back. I'm pretty positive that they would, but if they make that appointment, I think we need to honor that.
I understand. I can take care of that.
Thank you.
Councilor Davis, are you good with that?
I'm okay with it. I see one of our recommendations.
Okay. On the Youth Advisory Council, Councilor Barnes is nominating Rihanna Williams, and she can be confirmed.
We got a motion and second for confirmation. All those in favor, please state aye.
And also on the Youth Advisory Council, the only other seat open is District 2, and that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
All right, great. Anything further? Seeing that there's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All those in favor, please state aye. Great, we stand adjourned. Thank you all.
Sewer lines can clog easily when we flush the wrong things down the drain. Columbus Waterworks would like to remind the community that the toilet is not a trash can. Never flush fats or food, syringes, paper towels, or cleaning wipes, even if they are labeled as flushable. These things don't break down like toilet paper, causing clogged pipes, pumps, and sewer backups into your home. As a rule, if it's not human waste or toilet paper, use the trash can. Just a friendly reminder from Columbus Waterworks, serving our community and protecting the environment.
Each year, more than 350 million pairs of shoes are tossed in our landfills, taking about 1,000 years to decompose. So don't throw them out, donate them instead. Drop them off on these dates at these locations and we'll send them to developing countries around the world. It keeps them from taking up space in our landfills and helps provide footwear to those who really could use it. Our goal, 1,200 bags of shoes of all sizes. Got a pair you can spare? It's the 2018 Shoe Recycling Campaign, sponsored in part by Keep Columbus Beautiful and WLTZ First News.
What's up, everybody? This is Stephen A. Smith from ESPN, and you're watching CCG TV in Columbus, Georgia.
Okay. 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 I still didn't get it, but that's good. It didn't come through. Okay. Sounds good. Good evening. At this time, I'd like to welcome you to the October the 15th, 2018 regular board meeting for the Muskogee County School District. It is 6 o'clock and we will get started. We want to begin today's meeting just with an attitude of gratitude and just to stop for just a moment just to, one, give thanks, but also just to recognize that while we had minimal damage from Hurricane Michael in Columbus, that there were some families that were affected in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. So I want to take just a moment to have a moment of silence just to recognize those families, okay? Thank you so much. At this time, we will begin with the pledge to the flag. And we have some students from Eagle Ridge Academy, I believe. Okay, I didn't. Okay, here they come. Welcome, welcome. Hi. Eagle Ridge Academy is committed to providing a quality education for all students. And here are some students from Eagle Ridge.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My name is Cameron Melling, and I attend Eagle Ridge Academy, and I'm in 4th grade. My name is Chapman Ward, and Eagle Ridge Academy, and I am in 4th grade.
My name is Kevin Buckholz, and I attend Eagle Ridge Academy in 5th grade.
My name is Colson McCullough, and I attend Eagle Ridge Academy in 5th grade.
My name is Julia Rivera, and I attend Eagle Ridge Academy in 4th grade.
My name is Donovan Colvin, and I'm in the 4th grade, and I attend to Eagle Ridge Academy.
My name is Reese Tipton, and I attend Eagle Ridge Academy in 4th grade.
My name is Sienna Miller, and I attend Eagle Ridge Academy, and I'm in 4th grade.
Hi, my name is Madeline, and I attend Eagle Ridge Academy, and I'm in 4th grade.
Hi, my name is Jaden Anthony. I attend to Eagle Ridge Academy, and I'm in the 4th grade. Thank you for having us here.
Excellent job. If there are parents and teachers and administrators from Eagle Ridge, if you would, please stand. Let us recognize you as well. Parents, teachers, please stand. Yes. Thank you so very much for coming, and thank you for sharing your children with us. And Representative Williams has a comment, so I'm going to turn it over to her.
Separate from this, but Madam Chair, I was we're all learning a new system here, so bear with us. I noticed that we did not see the video feed of the children, so we usually look up and we can see their faces. Does that, Dr. Lewis, does that mean they're not being shown on, do we know if they're being shown on TV? Or is that what's being seen on TV? I believe they're being shown on camera. Okay. I'm just curious because I know a lot of parents can't get here because perhaps they're working, but they definitely want to record it or see it later.
Absolutely.
So I want to make sure that wasn't what they were getting.
Very good point. Very good point.
Okay, so you guys can catch yourselves on the rerun on television. Thank you guys for coming. Give them another round of applause.
There's the principal and assistant principal.
If you guys would come, yes, if you would introduce yourselves. Yes, please.
I'm Amy Parker. I'm the principal at Eagle Ridge Academy.
I'm Monique Williams, the assistant principal at Eagle Ridge Academy.
Thank you guys for all you do for our students. At this time, can we have a motion to approve the agenda? Okay. Okay. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor, if you would, raise your hand. Okay, and that is unanimously approved, and we will move forward with the agenda. Okay. All right. At this time, I'd like to recognize a few visitors. So when I call your name, if you would, please stand. Let us recognize you. We do thank you for attending tonight's meeting and sharing your time with us. So I see that Carolyn Overton is in the audience. She is the new president of the Board of Trustees for the museum. So Ms. Overton, thank you for coming. Let's give her a round of applause for being here. We have some representatives from MEEF, I believe. Mr. Williams is here. And are there any other members from MEEF? If you would, please stand. Let us recognize you as well. Yes, thank you guys so much for coming. Okay. Let me finish the visitors, and then I'll turn it over to you. Marianne Richter and Alan Harkness, thank you for all you do at the museum and the library. Let's give them a round of applause. And I believe we have Dr. Sly in the audience and Mike Edmondson. If you guys would please stand, let us recognize you. Okay. Thank you all so much for coming. Representative Williams and Representative Buckner, they have some comments at this time, so we'll start with you.
Thank you. Mrs. Obleton, I think it's appropriate that you're here tonight because I would like to call out Marianne Richter. And for her swift action, just before the hurricane, for those of you who haven't read about it, she decided to place security in the museum to ensure that if anything happened during the hurricane to the museum, that there would be somebody there, the appropriate person there to act upon it. And because of that decision, which I see as the epitome of a management decision, because of that decision, the museum was able to really limit their losses on what could have potentially been a catastrophic loss. And I just didn't want a meeting to go by without saying, kudos, thank you.
Okay, I think you covered it, Representative Williams. So we will move on at this time. Now for my favorite part of the agenda, we will move on to the system-wide recognitions. Ms. Parham.
Good evening. First up on our system-wide recognitions for this evening, we have a Columbus High School student, Mr. Locke Adams, who is currently a junior, who achieved a perfect score on the ACT.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much. First off, besides my parents, I'd really like to thank Columbus High and all the teachers that I've had for really putting me in the position that I am today. Couldn't be here without any of them, so thank you again.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So proud of you. If your parents are here, Mercedes, if you would, can you call him back for just a moment? We'd like to recognize his parents at this time. If you are here, please stand. We know that this is a partnership, so if you would, please stand. Let us recognize you at this time. Thank you all so much for being here, and congratulations. We are extremely proud of you, and keep up the good work. Thank you. Yes, sir.
And Mr. Adams, please don't forget you can get your official picture right outside with your parents at the seal with the 2 flags, okay? Thank you so much. Next up, we have the Jordan High School students who placed at the Skills USA Champions Rally at the Georgia National Fair. Yes. So just a little bit of background. Skills USA is a national nonprofit student organization that was has developed more than 10 million workers through active partnerships between employers and educators. Each year, hundreds of American industries have turned to Skills USA as the source for employees who exemplify what they call champions at work in both skills and attitudes. The Skills USA Georgia program is focused on serving high school students involved in the following programs: architecture, construction, communication, cosmetology, public safety, and transportation. And these are all pathways that are aligned with the Georgia Department of Education. So the following students that you're seeing here today placed as state champions in the Skills USA Champions Rally, and they were recognized with each of their projects that were placed on a display and for public viewing in the Heritage Hall building at the Georgia National Fair, which was held in Perry, Georgia through October 14th of this year. So at this time, I'm just going to ask that we recognize these students for their exemplary work, and of course, their advisor, Mr. Graham.
Once again, my name is Clayton Graham. I attend Jordan Vocational High School, and we have a new bunch of kids this year. Joining me, I have 2 bodyguards, my youngest daughter, Shiley, and my oldest daughter, Sophie. So I'm going to let them say their piece, and then they're going to pass the mic back to me. I'll add the closing remarks.
Hello, my name is Nicholas Williams. I'm a junior at Jordan Vocational High School, and me and my friend here, we competed in the career pathway display, and we both achieved 3rd place.
Hello, my name is Dante Smith. I'm a junior at Jordan Vocational High School, and me and my buddy Nick, we placed 3rd in state for the career pathway display.
My name is Shiley Graham. I'm a freshman at Jordan Vocational High School. I competed in the career pathway poster, and I placed 1st place in the state.
I'm Sophie Graham. I'm a sophomore at Jordan Vocational High School, and I competed in the t-shirt design with my partner.
Hi, my name is Liberty Bundy, and I'm a 10th grader at Jordan Vocational High School, and I competed in the t-shirt design.
And we got 3rd place.
Oh yeah, and we got 3rd place.
So just in case you're wondering, these t-shirts that they were speaking of, they have them on right now. So if you guys will turn and let the audience see what those t-shirts say, those were the t-shirts that won 3rd place in the state.
Now, there were several other students engaged in a couple more of the competition, but they are currently at working and couldn't be here, so they had some other engagements. But again, we started out with a new group this year for the most part. Only one returnee, Mr. Williams here. And I'm very proud of the accomplishments because it took a lot of hard work and dedication. So I really appreciate their support very much.
Thank you. And do we have any parents or anyone here supporting Jordan at this time? Wonderful. I would be remiss if I didn't also recognize Mr. Graham. He had an outstanding recognition, a national certification for the Jordan High School Architectural Drawing Program. They were recently awarded the Apprentice Drafter classification from the Association Design Drafting Association Curriculum Certification. This is not very easy to get, and it's giving recognition to schools whose curriculum in design, drafting, graphics, technical illustration, graphic illustration, digital imaging, visual communications, and digital media creation. And it has to meet the standards that are established and approved by their association. And it is the only professional industry organization that represents the standards, theories, principles, implementation, forecasts in this specialized training for graphics professions. So Mr. Graham went for the gold, and he got it. So we want to recognize him for bringing this recognition to Jordan High School. Anything you'd like to say, Mr. Graham?
Well, you said it all. But in a nutshell, yes, it does require extensive preparation for the national certification, and therefore the students upon graduation, they will have the credentials as well that they have attended a school that has been nationally accredited. So I thank all for their support as well, including staff and faculty.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, our Above and Beyond the Call of Duty Award winner for this evening is Miss Betty Willis. She's the lead custodian at Baker Middle School. Miss Willis began her career with us in 2005 as a sub-kitchen assistant, and after 1 month of working with the district, she was hired as a custodian at Baker Middle School. She was then moved to Marshall Middle School in 2010, and then later returned to Baker Middle School in 2012, where she currently serves as the lead custodian. She is described as a fabulous coworker and a huge asset to the Baker team by one of her colleagues, Katie Caldwell-Maynor, and Ms. Maynor was the one who nominated her to receive this recognition based on the areas of job performance, customer service, teamwork, and leadership. And Ms. Maynor described her as well by saying she does 100 jobs that ultimately play a major role in supporting the educational efforts of Baker Middle School. She makes amazing connections with children. She is quick to respond to requests, and she's the go-to lady for all staff. And from the principal at Baker Middle School, Ms. Horn, Ms. Betty Willis is a hardworking, dedicated employee serving our school system with pride, knowing how important a safe and clean environment is to